So, here's what was just revealed on SportsCenter earlier today, and honestly, it caught everyone off guard. A brand new report has surfaced involving the Los Angeles Lakers, and it's not just any rumor. It's a surprising, even slightly bizarre proposal involving a player nobody had on their radar this offseason, and a potential trade pitch already sparking heated debates across the league. According to what was discussed live on the show, this latest report, originally highlighted by Yahoo Sports, links the Lakers to Brooklyn Nets forward Ben Simmons in what some insiders are calling a low-risk, high-reward gamble scenario. That's right, Ben Simmons, the former All-Star who's had a roller coaster career over the last few seasons, is now being loosely connected to Los Angeles in one of the most unexpected trade conversations of the summer. Now, it's important to set the stage here. At first glance, the idea of Brooklyn moving Simmons might not sound shocking. After all, his fit with the Nets has been inconsistent, and his injuries have kept him from being a constant contributor. But the surprise here is the Lakers' potential willingness to take a chance on him. Insiders say his front office has been quietly exploring buy-low opportunities for versatile playmakers, especially ones who could impact both ends of the floor if healthy. The trade pitch discussed on air would send Rui Hachimura, rookie Dalton Knecht, Maxi Kleber, a 2030 pick swap, and an unprotected 2031 first-round pick to the Nets in exchange for Ben Simmons, Day'Ron Sharpe, and Cam Thomas. Yes, it's a hefty package, but for the Lakers, it's more about what Simmons could represent than the raw numbers of the deal. The segment made it clear that the story here isn't just about this specific trade concept. It's about the fact that the Lakers still have a combination of assets, both players and picks, that can be packaged for a significant roster upgrade before opening night. Even if Simmons isn't the final target, the front office is signaling they're ready to shake things up. And if you were tuned into SportsCenter this morning, you could sense a change in tone. The message was simple: the Lakers aren't standing pat. This connects back to recent comments from Lakers GM Rob Pelinka, who spoke after finalizing Luka Doncic's massive contract extension. Pelinka was direct. LA will always look for ways to improve and won't be content with simply running it back. That alone has fueled a wave of speculation, and this Ben Simmons rumor is just the latest example of how aggressive the Lakers are staying on the trade front. In this proposed scenario, Rui Hachimura would be the most established piece heading out of Los Angeles, along with two intriguing young players. Dalton Knecht, for example, was highly valued by the Lakers in the draft process, and Maxi Kleber brings front-court depth that could be useful to a team like Brooklyn. Then there's the 2030 pick swap and the unprotected 2031 first-rounder, assets that hold serious long-term value and could be pivotal in convincing the Nets to make a move. During the broadcast, one panelist compared the potential return to the kind of upside gamble teams sometimes take when a star's value has dipped, similar to how the Miami Heat once bought low on players like Victor Oladipo. The logic is that if Simmons can get back to even 80% of his All-NBA form, the deal becomes a massive steal for Los Angeles. And with those future unprotected picks on the table, Brooklyn could be betting that the post-LeBron Lakers might not be as competitive, giving them premium draft capital down the road. What adds even more intrigue is the timing. Brooklyn, despite having a mix of young talent and veterans, isn't viewed as a serious contender in the East right now. Health concerns, a crowded guard rotation, and looming cap flexibility decisions could all push them toward making a deal. And, as discussed on the show, the Nets might be willing to pivot toward a more long-term build if the right combination of assets comes their way. From the Lakers' perspective, the Doncic extension provides stability at the top, but the Western Conference is stacked. With LeBron James nearing the twilight of his career and other contenders loading up, they know that sitting still is not an option. Acquiring a player like Ben Simmons, with his defensive versatility and playmaking upside, could be the kind of swing that changes the trajectory of their season. If it works out, more big name before the season begins, it's not far-fetched. If anything, it's expected. The tone from SportsCenter was optimistic, but cautious. They acknowledged that this specific Simmons deal may never happen. In fact, most people around the league think it's a long shot, but the message was clear. The Lakers are hunting for an impact move. Whether it's Ben Simmons, Brandon Ingram, or another name entirely, Rob Pelinka and his front office are staying ready. And if the right opportunity with the right value pops up, don't be surprised if LA pulls the trigger. So, buckle up, Lakers Nation. If today's broadcast made anything clear, it's that this offseason isn't wrapped up just yet. Picking up where the conversation left off on SportsCenter, the panel dove deeper into the rumored trade framework between the Lakers and Nets. And that's where things got even more intriguing. Analysts broke down the value of LA's 2031 unprotected first-round pick, noting that before Luka Doncic's extension, that asset carried even more weight. Why? Because with LeBron James and Anthony Davis as your aging core, rival executives viewed the Lakers' long-term future as unpredictable. Now, with Doncic locked in for 5 more years, some of that uncertainty has eased, but it hasn't disappeared entirely. The focus, of course, shifted back to the centerpiece of the deal, Ben Simmons. And the big question on the show was whether it would even make sense for Los Angeles to roll the dice on him. From the Lakers' side, the gamble has a clear upside. You're getting a 6'10" defensive force who can guard multiple positions, create in transition, and bring elite playmaking when healthy. But from Brooklyn's perspective, it's a more complicated call. The Nets would be receiving Rui Hachimura, who's on an expiring deal, Dalton Knecht, an unproven but intriguing rookie, and 2 future draft assets, a 2030 pick swap and that coveted 2031 unprotected first. Not exactly a jaw-dropping return for a player who, despite recent struggles, still carries the name recognition of a former #1 overall pick. On the broadcast, analysts debated whether Brooklyn might prefer to hold out for a package heavy on draft capital from a team projected to be weaker in the short term. They also pointed out that Simmons, when fully engaged, is a unique talent, a point forward who can single-handedly disrupt an offense. That's why it's such a gamble for LA. If he returns to form, the Lakers could suddenly boast one of the most versatile defensive lineups in the NBA. If not, they'd be sacrificing valuable future assets for a question mark. Reports surfaced on the show that other teams had sniffed around Simmons in recent months, but the Nets weren't inclined to move him for cheap. One source even claimed a Western Conference team offered 2 first-round picks and a rotation player earlier this year, and Brooklyn still passed. That alone shows they're not just giving him away. From Brooklyn's side, Rui Hachimura could be an appealing short-term fit, alongside Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, while Knecht is a mystery box. Some scouts believe he could develop into a consistent scorer, while others aren't convinced. The Nets, however, would have to weigh whether adding those pieces is worth letting go of a player who, at his best, changes the geometry of the floor. The panel also reminded viewers that this Simmons to Lakers chatter didn't just appear out of thin air. According to reports, conversations between the 2 front offices about him date back to mid-July, nearly a month ago. And the fact that this rumor resurfaced today suggests that, while no deal is imminent, there's still at least some level of interest on both sides. One final wrinkle raised on the broadcast was how some variations of this trade package reportedly don't even include the 2030 pick swap, just the 2031 first-rounder. That highlights the flexibility LA still has with its draft capital, and it means they could sweeten the offer further if Brooklyn pushed for it. But again, the question remains, would the Nets see enough value to justify parting ways with Simmons now? From the Lakers' point of view, the move has calculated risk written all over it. You'd be adding a potentially elite defender and secondary playmaker to a rotation that already features LeBron James, Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton, and Marcus Smart, giving head coach J.J. Redick even more lineup versatility heading into a loaded Western Conference season. Austin Reeves. It opens the door to all kinds of lineup combinations. You could run Luka, Simmons, LeBron, Ayton, and Smart. You could bring Simmons in as the ultimate 6th man to lead the second unit. You could keep Reeves in the starting lineup and slide Simmons into a hybrid forward role. The possibilities are endless. And that's exactly what the SportsCenter crew kept circling back to. Losing Rui Hachimura, currently their starting forward, would sting, but when you're adding a player with Simmons' defensive versatility and playmaking upside, the trade-off could be exactly what this Lakers roster needs in a stacked Western Conference. And if Simmons can recapture even a portion of his all-star form, the impact could be massive. What's more, the analysts speculated that a move like this might be just the first domino. Maybe Austin Reeves becomes part of a future deal. Maybe Simmons unlocks a new lineup that allows Marcus Smart to shift into more of an off-ball role. Either way, it would make the Lakers deeper, more flexible, and better positioned for a deep playoff run. On air, they even threw out some hypothetical rotation. Luka, Reeves, Smart, LeBron, Ayton, with Simmons running point forward off the bench. Or Simmons at the 4, LeBron sliding to the 3, and Luka handling the bulk of the playmaking duty. While Smart brings toughness and energy, Simmons' combination of size, speed, and court vision offers something the Lakers simply don't have right now. Together, they could form one of the most versatile defensive front courts in the league. The SportsCenter panel also emphasized that a move like this would send a clear message to both the fan base and the rest of the NBA. The Lakers are not standing still. They're active, they're aggressive, and they're willing to take calculated risks to stay in the hunt. Because in the Western Conference, if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. Before the segment wrapped, the broadcast shifted to another headline that might have flown under the radar. De'Aaron Fox reportedly signing a 4-year extension worth around $229 million. At first glance, it may not seem connected to the Lakers, but in reality, it is. Why? Because the West just got tougher. The Kings are locking up their core. The Spurs, Thunder, and other young squads are loading up. And if Los Angeles wants to keep pace, they need to be bold. So, whether the Simmons deal ultimately materializes or not, the bigger takeaway from tonight's SportsCenter was this: Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office are far from finished. The market is still moving, and Los Angeles, they're very much still in the hunt.